Okay, so next is going to be food quality. What foods do we want to include in the diet? What foods do we want to avoid? And what foods are okay in moderation? So, in general, what we want to do is we want to eat more fibrous vegetables, more non-starchy vegetables. We want to eat more healthy proteins. We want to eat some, so in moderation, fruits and berries, some starchy vegetables, some healthy fats, and then we want to eat less or none of added sugars, of processed grains, of dairy, processed food, alcohol, and beans or soy. So, in general, for a lifestyle standpoint, this is how we probably should be eating most of the time. Now, for the 21-day challenge, this won't just be less. For the 21-day challenge, this is going to be uh, none, right? So let's get into this a little bit deeper. So eating more of, we want more fibrous vegetables. So fibrous vegetables means veggies that have a high water content, a high fiber content, they have a high vitamin content, but they don't have a whole lot of calories in them. So you could eat an entire plate of broccoli and not get a whole lot of calories. So this is important because these vegetables are going to make you feel more full. So you're not starving all the time. They're going to fill up your stomach. They're going to help stabilize blood sugar, and they're going to provide you lots of vitamins, lots of nutrients. So good examples of fibrous vegetables would be like bell peppers, other peppers, onions, mushrooms, tomatoes, soft squash like zucchini and yellow squash. Could also be your greens like spinach and kale, chard. Lots of other ones too, but those are just some examples. Healthy proteins. So healthy proteins are going to be primarily meats that have the words free range or pastured or wild caught or grass fed in them. So we want to look for those words when we're shopping for meat. And what this means is that it means that the animal ate the diet that it was intended to. So in the same way that when we eat a healthy diet, it makes us healthy and our cholesterol and the fats in our body are going to be healthy. When an animal eats a healthy diet for it, the fats that it stores in the body and the stuff in its bloodstream and what it stores in its muscle are going to be of higher quality and healthy too. So if the animal eats healthy, the animal's healthy. If we eat healthy animals, we're going to be healthy. So when animals eat grass and bugs and algae and the stuff they're supposed to eat, they accumulate omega-3s in their bloodstream and accumulate omega-3s in their stored fat. So omega-3s are the anti-inflammatory fat that is found in fish oil. So we talk about fish oil being a healthy vitamin for us or a healthy nutrient for us rather. A lot of the benefits from that fish oil is that it's an anti-inflammatory. Okay, so now when animals eat corn or they're conventionally raised, eat chicken feed and soy and corn, they accumulate omega-6s. Now, omega-6s are pro-inflammatory fats. So they cause more inflammation. So if a cow eats corn, it gets high omega-6s. That meat causes inflammation in the body. Not good for us. If it eats grass, we get a lot of omega-3s in there. That's going to decrease inflammation, and that's a good thing. So now the fruits, berries, starchy vegetables, healthy fats, these are all going to be foods that have a high vitamin content, a high nutrient content. They're still really good for us, but they are a little bit more calorically dense. So if we eat nothing but, handfuls of nuts all day long, we're going to get lots and lots of calories. We might not see the benefits that we want to from the diet. So fruits and berries are great, lots of vitamins there. There's still some fiber, lots of good stuff. But compared to a vegetable, fruits are going to have a little bit more sugar and they're going to have a lot more carbohydrate in them. So we want to have some fruit, but just have it in moderation. Starchy vegetables, this would be your like sweet potatoes. This would be starchy squash. So what's the difference between non-starchy and starchy squash? Someone asked me that today. I would say a non-starchy squash, so what would follow in the fibrous vegetable category would be zucchini or yellow squash. Can you eat them raw? Yes, so that would be non-fibrous. Now, starchy squash, that would be your butternut squash, your acorn squash, your spaghetti squash, things like that. They're hard if you knock on them, and for the most part, we don't want to eat them raw. They're not very good raw. You need to cook them, right? There's some other neat starchy vegetables like cassava, taro, some different ones that you can try out as well. But the big ones are going to are going to be your sweet potato and your butternut squash. Spaghetti squash is amazing. I challenge you to try that. over the course of the challenge. Healthy fats, best fat sources are going to be avocado oil, olive and olive oil, fish and fatty fish, so salmon, tuna, the fats that are in those, especially if they're wild caught, are going to be very healthful. Coconut and coconut oil has some medium chain triglycerides that are healthy for us. And then the fat that's in grass-fed meat, we already talked about that. So high omega-3 content. There's also some of the monounsaturated fats and the same stuff that's good for us in olive oil. You can find that in grass-fed meat. And then nuts in moderation, again, almonds, walnuts, that sort of thing are great. Peanuts are a legume, not a nut, so we do want to avoid peanuts, but the other tree nuts are good to go. We just, again, want to make sure that we're not eating too many of them. Sometimes on a paleo challenge, people will be like, well, nuts are paleo, so they're just like snacking on nuts all the time. And I'd say nuts don't make a very good snack because they're not very filling, and you can eat quite a few of them. And so you might think you're eating a paleo food that's healthy, but you ate, hundreds and hundreds of calories of nuts throughout the day. So I try to limit your nuts to like one handful per day. And then again, for the course of the 21-day challenge, we're asking you to avoid these food. So sugar, that's a no-brainer. Added sugars, lots of empty calories there, not a lot of nutrition value, not very filling. So sugars tend to cause an insulin spike that triggers fat storage. That insulin spike also triggers hunger for more food. So it makes you more hungry, doesn't fill you up, and really just adds a lot of extra calories that tends to add a lot of extra body fat. Grains, so the processed grains. Two big things here with grains is one, from a kind of clean diet eating perspective, grains have some lectins in them and some other compounds like gluten and different things that could irritate your gut and might be causing some inflammation in your body. So we want to remove those just to see how you do without them. Again, after the 21 days, if you want to add them back in and maybe one at a time and see how you do, go ahead. Second piece is that grains are very, very dense from an energy standpoint. So a serving of rice is a third cup of rice. And oftentimes we would eat maybe a full cup of rice or even 2 cups of rice. So it's very easy to have 3 or 6 servings of rice in one sitting. The grains, the servings are very small. They're very energy dense. It's very easy to overeat on grains. So we're asking you to avoid them for the 21 days. Dairy, this would be your milk, your cheese, ice cream, even yogurt. Hey, Winnie. Winnie says hello. And the dairy is going to have some other compounds in them that can cause some allergic responses, some autoimmune responses in the body. So they're a common irritant. You might do fine with dairy after the challenge, but again, I want you to take them out for the 21 days to get a clean slate. Another interesting thing is that even though they're proteins, dairy proteins like casein and whey can cause an insulin response, which post-workout, whey protein can have some benefit. We want that insulin post-workout to help recovery. But the rest of the day, we don't want that insulin because it causes some fat storage. So keep that in mind as well. And then processed food, this would be your boxed, your bagged, your other packaged foods. In general, the more ingredients on the label, the longer the list of ingredients, the more things you can't pronounce in it, probably the further it is away from being a real food. We want to be avoiding a lot of the chemical food additives, the artificial ingredients, the artificial coloring, and that sort of thing. In general, we just want to see how our body does without them. Alcohol. Sorry, guys, this is going to be a hard one for a lot of us. I know that. Alcohol, lots of empty calories there. They add up really quickly. A beer is like 200 calories. A glass of wine can be 100 to 200 calories, assuming it's dry. If it's sweeter, it might be even higher. When you start going into mixed drinks, it's not uncommon for a mixed drink to have 3, 4, 5, or even 600 plus calories per drink. So we want to take those out. Lots of empty calories in there. Alcohol calories do have to be processed in the liver, so they are more likely to be stored as body fat. And again, there's some irritation, some inflammation of the body as a result of alcohol as well. So we're going to take that out for 21 days. You can do it. I'm going to do it with you. And then last is going to be beans and soy. So beans would be your regular beans and also your legumes like peanuts, which we talked about. There are some lectins in beans, which can cause some gastric irritation. I think most people do pretty well with beans, but we just want to take them out to see how you do without them. Again, get that baseline. Same thing with soy. There's some lectins and some gastric irritants in there. There's also some things that cause a high estrogen release. So we want to take those out of the diet, see how we do without them, and then you can choose what you want to add back in after the 21 days.